Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. This is my bottom through from the pay-per-view that took place last night on the Zone. Again, don't ask me why it was pay-per-view, to be honest with you, but obviously I had my say on why it shouldn't be pay-per-view, but it was pay-per-view, so I always do reviews for pay-per-view cards, so where we saw Moses Itauma knock out Whyte in the first round. And this is where we're going to start off with the main event. Is Itauma really the real deal? Dillian Whyte to retire? Question mark. First things first. For me, it was a shock how Itauma won. It wasn't a shock who won the fight. I think everyone said Itauma was going to win the fight, whichever rounds they picked. Blah blah blah. But to do it inside the first round, Dillian Whyte, look, it's not the Dillian Whyte we want to know, is it? It's not the same Dillian Whyte, but it's still a name at the end of the day. It's still Moses Itauma's toughest test to date, in my opinion. And there was some jeopardy done into the fight as well because of the damn Dillian Whyte was playing in the build-up in the press conference saying he was already writing himself off. And that, I was thinking to myself, you know what, this could easily be one of the best plucks ever from Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, with his build-up, Dillian Whyte wins for his fight, said on the press conference, etc. Okay, you could say he is a pay-per-view star, Dillian Whyte. But he's not that much of a pay-per-view star compared to AJ, Tyson Fury, etc. But yeah, clinical, wasn't it? Just basically, whenever Moses Itauma and basically whenever a punch landed on Dillian Whyte, he was already done. Simple as that. There's rumours about Dillian Whyte having a head injury according to Sonny Edwards. Apparently Sonny Edwards, but yes, be real. I don't think it would have made much of a difference. Moses Itauma, he's good. He is good, but again, I don't really want to overhype Moses Itauma too much, to be honest with you, because let's be real. I think it's complete nonsense. Mentioning Itauma fighting Alexander Whyte, who has carried this heavyweight division. That's a start. I still think there's a few heavyweights that still beat Moses Itauma, in my opinion. I think obviously Usyk easy beats him. I think Parker beats him, in my opinion. Yes, we will. Joseph Parker still fought better opponents than Moses Itauma. I'm not disrespecting Moses Itauma, by the way. I'm not disrespecting him, but who has Moses Itauma fought compared to Joseph Parker? Joseph Parker has fought Martin Vettori, Deontay Wilder, Zayat. The list goes on. It goes on for Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker has earned a title shot more than Moses Itauma. Yes, people look at the rankings and say, well, Moses Itauma versus Joseph Parker could happen for a fake WBO title because we don't know what's happened with Usyk. Apparently, Usyk's got a back injury according to Quick-Top. I hope Usyk retires personally. I think Usyk has been unbelievable to watch, and I think Usyk. I would like to see Usyk just vacate all the belts now, and yeah, fighters fight for vacant belts, open the heavyweight division up even more. Because Usyk doesn't need to fight on. Let's be real. Usyk does not need to fight on. He's achieved everything. He's achieved everything in boxing. He's one of the greatest of all time, as I know Usyk. I think he's up there with Muhammad Ali. I really do. Because Anthony Usyk had to come up, 40 pounds from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and everyone's doubting him, he's too small and all this. I know this is done off topic, and Usyk wasn't involved on this card, but Usyk is one of the creators. He is one of the creators. He don't really need to fight on, does he? Usyk, he's fought everyone. And My thing with Moses Itauma is we don't need to rush him. He's 20 years old, for God's sake. 20 years old. He's been nothing done. His technical skills, power, composure, clinicalness, and toutiness. His toutiness as well. So clinical as well. He don't mess around. He don't mess around. If he sees you hurt, he's after you. Simple as that. He's after you straight away, and he's clinical. I do want to see Moses Itauma that rounds in. I do want to see him that rounds in, but he's so desperate for his tea, and he's so desperate to have his tea and not mess around, which is what I like, that he doesn't mess around. And there's no need to rush Moses Itauma. There's no need to rush him, in my opinion. Sure, you're building up. I think the perfect opponent next for Moses Itauma, I said in my community post last night on the fight I would make next, I think the perfect opponent for Moses Itauma next is Faith Herdovitz, who also fought on this card as well. Because the thing with Faith Herdovitz will be a test for Moses Itauma. Also, Faith Herdovitz is so open as well. He is so open. And that is the right test next for Moses Itauma, in my opinion. As for Dillian Whyte, I don't think he has many fights yet, does he? Let's be real. Like, what is really next with Dillian Whyte? Lorenzo Corey could maybe make that fight for Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte and Lorenzo Corey, they don't like each other. I would still have to see that fight, just for the build-up as well. They don't like each other at all. Lorenzo Corey still needs to build his resume up as well. I still think it's too early for Lorenzo Corey. I still think it's too early for Lorenzo Corey to be fighting for a world title, in my opinion. That's not me saying. Obviously, Lorenzo Corey is what, number 1, number 2 with the WBC. Gabriel is obviously in the top 2 as well of the WBC. And the problem is, Lorenzo Corey versus Gabriel would be the fight to make sense next, especially if it's for a vacant WBC title, especially if Usyk does decide to retire. So that fight does make sense next. But the thing is with the WBC, they won't make that fight next. They will make the WBC title between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. There's no meritocracy, unfortunately, in the sport. So that's probably the only fight left for Dillian Whyte. Maybe like a Lorenzo Corey or even a Joe Choice. Because a Joe Choice fight is an easy fight to win for Dillian Whyte. Let's be real. A winnable fight for Dillian Whyte. Lorenzo Corey is 50-50, isn't it? It's 50-50 because we still don't know where Lorenzo Corey is at in terms of heavyweight division. As much he did well against Tevin Ureña, notifying Tevin Ureña. As most people don't like watching Lorenzo Corey, he did notify Tevin Ureña, who is quite a tricky opponent. So that's what I think will be next with Dillian Whyte. I still don't think he will retire yet. I think there's still probably Lorenzo Corey, Joe Choice fights yet for Dillian Whyte. But then apart from that, I think he will retire. So that's my thoughts on Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte with what happened in the main event. I'm still level-headed in terms of Itauma being the real deal. I'm still staying on the fence on that, to be honest with you. So, but we do move on now to netball, edging out Sam Dudman on points to retain WBA World Heavyweight title. Sam Dudman's stock has risen from that fight. Very close fight to call. I did not expect it to be a close fight. I thought netball's relentlessness would be too much, which it was in the end. I think that's what was the difference for me. Netball in the championship rounds for me. The championship rounds won netball the fight, in my opinion. Sam Dudman's accuracy and timing of his shots were absolutely divine, in my opinion. And Sam Dudman's stock has risen after this fight. There's now fights out there for Sam Dudman. Maybe, like I said last night, maybe Sam Dudman versus Liam Davids, that sort of fight on a Queensbury show. It's a winnable fight for Dudman, in my opinion, because Liam Dave has not been that convincing at all. Sam Dudman, he had that he just has that strategic cowbell style, doesn't he? Cowbell style, calculated, good defence as well. Can control the fight as well, and he controlled the fight quite early as well. Sam Dudman as well. But I was saying, Nick Ball's aggressive power, stance, movement, defence, his relentlessness as well from Nick Ball was this the winning factor in the end for Nick Ball. The right person did win the fight, in my opinion. I scored it two rounds to Nick Ball for me. I had 2 rounds in favour of Nick Ball, which was I did Nick Ball obviously two rounds over Sam Dudman in the fight. So what next for both fighters? Like I said with Sam Dudman, he could have like a Liam Davis fight, something like that. Nick Ball, I would like to see Nick Ball now fight for a unification now. I'm just sick of these phonesy title defences, these mandatories as well. I want Nick Ball now to fight in a unification fight. I would like to see Nick Ball for Steve Fulton next. I'll fight the WBC champion Steve Fulton. Because I think Nick Ball has massive problems against Rafael Espinosa, in my opinion, but he needs to fight them at some point, doesn't he? So I think Espinosa will be a massive problem for Nick Ball. I think Antonio Leo could be a massive problem for Nick Ball as well. So I'm looking at more Stephen Fulton for me. And then I think Stephen Fulton caused problems with Nick Ball, but I think that's the more winnable fight for me out of Antonio Leo and Rafael Espinosa, in my personal opinion anyway. So that's why I put Nick Ball for Stephen Fulton next. That's the fight I would like to see next from Nick Ball. So yeah, that is that fight. Next up, we saw Hayato Suzume stop Chris Asfat inside 3 rounds. Not surprised, is it? Let's be real. I think everyone expected no stoppers from Suzume. Suzume, who is a technical steel fighter, got that proness about him, got that amateur background about him as well. Done it one. Asfat had that amateur background, but then Asfat, there's just levels between the two of them. Yes, we will. Just levels between the two of them, and it's just the white was on the wall for Asfat straight away. Suzume, that's the job done inside 3 rounds, and yeah, nothing much to say about that one in my opinion. Up next, Faith Herdefist, Ed's now David Adlier in a heavyweight for one of the fights of the year for me. And it was. I thought it was one of the fights of the year. Faith Herdefist did win Kiyi on the start card, definitely won Kiyi on the start card, Faith Herdefist. Faith Herdefist has had that process about him, that volume about him, the timing as well. Technical fighter, Faith Herdefist. Needs to work on his defence though, Faith Herdefist, because David Adlier caught him a few times with a few good shots, especially that 8th round as well, which is probably the round of the year for me, where Faith Herdefist did knock David Adlier down, but David Adlier bit down on his thumb shield and fought back after that knockdown. Katz and Faith Herdefist were then left hooked as well from David Adlier. And I think David Adlier did better than I thought, in my opinion. I think he did better than I thought. The thing is with David Adlier, though, he still could have done even more better as well, because Herdefist was so open for me. The thing is with Faith Herdefist, he's always been so open. That is his defence, isn't it? Just caught every time. Faith Herdefist. But Faith Herdefist just had more. I think that world level experience helped Faith Herdefist in the fight. And that was the edge for me. That was the difference. Faith Herdefist was world level. David Adlier wasn't world level. Well, not at world level yet. David Adlier. What next for both fighters? You have to say with Faith heard of it. I think he'll face. I can see the Itauma fight happening next. I can really see that happening next. To be honest with you, heard of it would be a test for Itauma, but heard of it then is so open, which is why I put Moses Itauma to fight Faith heard of it next, which is why I said Faith heard of it next for Moses Itauma, because Faith heard of it is so open. And the technical skills of Moses Itauma, and the gentleness and calculation of Moses Itauma, he would probably still stop heard of it inside 6 rounds, to be honest with you. So probably not the Whyte fight for heard of it, but I do see that fight happening next, one of the fights happening next, to be honest with you, as Moses Itauma's resume. But yeah, that's what I can see happening next. And yeah, I think the Itauma heard of it, said to build Itauma's resume up. But heard of it still go devil as well, so as was Dillian Whyte, so who knows what's next for Faith heard of it. In terms of David Adjaye, what next for him? I would say fight Fraser Clark or TK3 or the TK3 rematch, in my opinion. Fight one of them two next. It's not that. It is a bit of a drop off from heard of it, but it's a winnable fight for David Adjaye, Fraser Clark, or TK3. That's what I can see happening next, in my opinion. So, but yeah, proper strap between Herdovich and Adjaye, and one of the fights of the year for me, in my opinion. And finally, Wayford outpointed very Dame Abraham Nova. He was Dame, wasn't he, Abraham Nova? Which is what you expect from an Orthos fight like Abraham Nova. He caused a Shaki Foster problems, so I wasn't really shocked that it would cause a few problems for Wayford. But obviously, Wayford's all-round boxing ability was the difference in the end. Just with his skill, the counter punching, the quick hands as well from Wayford as well. Just the counter punching for me was the difference for me for Wayford in this fight. He adapted pretty much straight away, needing not setting out the fight. Wayford, when Nova was having joy early on, Wayford, he adapted the ability to switch as well. Wayford, sick fighter, and Wayford, the white winner in the end, tier winner in the end over Abraham Nova, and outpointing Abraham Nova. What next for both fight as well? I think we need to see Wayford versus Tanase fight. That was the fight that did get cancelled. So I do think we need to see that fight next and rescheduled. Abraham Nova, I think Abraham Nova is still a good opponent for anyone. If anyone is stepping up, Abraham Nova is the perfect opponent. Yeah, he'll give you a test as well. He'll give you a test. So Abraham Nova is still not in Boston for quite a long time still. And he'll probably be like a tune-up for like a Wayford type, something like that, Abraham Nova. So Abraham Nova actually did well for a short notice opponent as well. So, but yeah, Wayford was a tier winner for me, and that's what I think will be next for both fighters. So that is my most Itauma versus day. That is my most Itauma knocking out Dillian Whyte in the first round, bottom through, full card through. Feel free to leave your thoughts on all the fights down below in the comments. And what do you make of all the fights down below? As much I didn't like it being on pay-per-view, we actually had some good fights. We had Netball, Sam Dubman, that was a good fight. Herdofist, Adjaye, good fight, good strap. And Ford Nova was a good strap as well. So I still don't think it was pay-per-view worthy, to be honest with you. It didn't deserve to be pay-per-view. But we still had some good fights on there, good on the card fights. So feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments on all the fights down below. Is Itauma, the big question is Moses Itauma really the real deal? I'm still sitting on the fence on that, really. And as much as I do think he is good, he is very good, but I'm still sitting on the fence on that. Will Dillian Whyte retire? let me know down below in the comments, and leaving your thoughts down below on which of the fights, what you thought about the rest of the fights down below in the comments.